Alright folks, this is Herm Says Play to Win, and I'm back with another War Thunder Ground Forces replay, this time playing a realistic battle in the Tiger II with the production turret, also called the Tiger IIH in this game. So it used to be that I just played simulator battles exclusively, but that's not really practical at this point. It's because the queue times to get into a simulator battle can be really horrendous. I mean, waiting 15-20 minutes to get into one battle, and well, frankly, I don't have that much time to be playing video games to begin with, and so I would rather not spend the majority of my time waiting to get into a game instead of actually playing the game. So here we are playing a realistic battle on the, which one is this? This is the Hurtgen, or is it Hurtgen? Hurtgen? Forest map. So, let's see. Right, so this was a conquest battle, which means that there's just one cap point. And this time the cap point is the northern one, up on the hill. So we got a bunch of people making their way up onto the hill. In War Thunder, it's important to maintain good spacing, that is, as I take out a bot KV-1. And that's because you want to position and deploy your team so you're controlling as much of the map as possible, so you're overwatching and able to put fire on as much of the map as you can. So teams that just lemming all to one spot are essentially just giving up control of parts of the map that they have not occupied and they are not observing. So I figured, since we have quite a few people already going for the objective, there's really no need for me to do that, so I'm providing some overwatch here. Now, actually all of these guys here that are in close range, they're bots. That vehicle back there, that's player controlled. It's probably over 2 kilometers away, so hitting them is basically just a matter of luck. Okay, so as the battle is developing, decide to switch focus to see if I can spot any enemies up on the hill here. Well, I know there are enemies getting up there because trees are being knocked down, and friendlies are shooting towards that direction, so the enemies are definitely either up there or making their way up there. Well, we know that one of the enemies has already capped the point. Now, the important thing here is I'm keeping cover to my left. I want to leave my flank exposed. I think that's a mistake that a lot of players make, is that they don't bother to find cover. Really, they should. And by cover, I mean hard cover. Something that enemies can't shoot through. Okay, so in realistic and simulator, it's really important to watch where fire is going. Both fire from friendlies and also fire from enemies. It's important to watch where the tracers fly. and also where there are puffs of smoke, because, for example, in that particular situation, I didn't actually cleanly make out where the enemy was, but I saw the smoke from there. I saw that there were enemies shooting, or sorry, friendlies shooting at that area, so I was able to take out that T-44. Okay, so this is one of the reasons I decided to hang back, in order to cover the rear of our forces that are contesting the hill. So there's an enemy medium flanking the hill, and there's actually the enemy BT5. So the BT5, I bet, was the one who capped the zone to begin with, because the BTs are super fast tanks. Now, I don't know why he's just hanging out here instead of just ducking behind cover or just running away, but he didn't, so I'm gonna help him out, sending him back to the spawn. Okay, so BT is down. At this point I checked my left because I saw a HUD indicator that there's an enemy contact spotted there, but I can't really fuss with that at this point. I need to deal with this enemy that's flanking. That's gotten behind our hill position. So I know he crossed down into this lower valley area. I think the people up on the hill are just completely oblivious to his presence, because they're too focused on what's to their front. Okay, so I need to come down from the hill and go after this guy, try to find him. Now, probably what he's gonna do is he's gonna take the road that's right in front of me and try to cross all the way to the rear of our spawn point. And so we can't let him do that. So that would really be bad for us. So he's killed 2 of our self-propelled anti-aircraft. And so there he is. He pokes around the corner now. Got a bit lucky there that he didn't do much damage with his shot. In fact, he didn't do any damage. And I suspect it's because the position that he was in, he couldn't depress his gun far enough down, so he probably just like grazed my turret or something. So I did put a damaging hit into him. Now, unfortunately here, what I should have done was take my time properly aiming that shot. So yeah, so I intended to hit kind of the middle part of his mantlet, but I didn't aim it very well. I'm not sure if it was just the suspension was bouncing still or whatever, but I haven't put very good follow-up shots into this guy. So Yak Panther shows up to my right to cover my repairs. Now, preferably, it would have been better if he spaced himself a little more from me, so that way, if an enemy drops a bomb on me, it won't take out the Yak Panther also, but it's okay. No harm, no foul. So put a shot into the upper glacis of this patent. Finally take him out. Okay, so flank threat is now neutralized. Now we need to get up here and try to help the cap situation because clearly these guys up here need some help. So I type in the chat now or never, just to encourage people to get up there into the cap and buy some time. Because the Tiger II is a very capable tank, but it's not a very fast tank. Especially climbing up hills. So I've already been overtaken by this Yak Panther, and I'm just not going to be able to stay with him. It's because the Tiger II is really underpowered. Even if you get all the upgrades, it's powered by the same engine that powers the Tiger I. Now for the Tiger I, the 650 horsepower is adequate. I mean, it's not great, it's adequate. Gets the job done. Moving the Tiger II with 650 horsepower, though, it's really inadequate. So I don't know if you've seen here, but the ticket counter, our ticket counter is essentially ticked all the way down to the point where we can't even really see it. Okay, so at the very, very last second, my squad mate actually gets in there, starts capping the zone, freezes the countdown right in the nick of time here, so buying us time to get up here, try to help him. So finally climb up the hill. There's a lot of uneven terrain here, so slowly making my way forward. Okay, so we know that the enemy is dug in here. So an enemy TD actually took down my squad mate right there. So I know there are enemies over that little ridge right there, but I can't see them. So I can't shoot them. Trying to find where the enemies are. So there's a muzzle flash right there, but it's on the other side of that ridge. So at this point, I realized, along with the Yak Panther, that we have to move and we have to get into a flanking position, or at least a position where we can put fire on the enemy on the other side of that ridge. So trying to do flanking in a slow, high-profile tank like the Tiger II is always at least a little bit of a hairy situation. Now, fortunate thing here is that the enemies, at this point, they're down to self-propelled anti-aircraft guns. So, not going to be much of a threat. So there's an enemy light tank. So enemy self-propelled AA, so get my 4th kill there. So we got a little bit of the tunnel vision thing going on because I didn't notice this SU up here on the ridge. Turns out he was dead. He was already wrecked. Now I didn't know that. And that's because in realistic battle there's this quirk where a wrecked vehicle doesn't actually blow up until the driver of the vehicle decides to hop in the vehicle selection screen to respawn. So I think that's really an annoying mechanic, frankly. I mean, if you have a fast reloading tank, then it's not such a big deal. You can put a shot into the wreck, and if it turns out not to be a player, then that's okay. But if you're in a slow reloading vehicle, especially one that doesn't have a machine gun, then that can be really annoying because you can end up putting a shot into a vehicle that's already dead. And then you need to wait out the reload. And all the while you're reloading, of course, you're going to be vulnerable to return fire from enemies that are actually alive. So it's kind of annoying mechanics. So here's another IS in the cap circle that's dead that just hasn't respawned. So anyway, yeah, at some point I'm probably going to do a video on the pros and cons of simulator battles versus realistic battles, and things like that. But anyway, that's it for this battle. So this was an instance where the team pulled a victory from the jaws of defeat. So it's really good battle. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.